Welcome back to session 4. As you remember, in session 3 we had the students work through their money trackers, and they got to play the hot dog game where they got to see their revenues and their expenses come together into either a profit or a loss. At the end of that session, we talked to the students about the importance of saving money even if they had a profit, just because they never know what might be to come. Today we're going to talk about those problems that might come up that entrepreneurs have to deal with on a daily basis. And so the first thing that we want to do is just talk to them about what do they think the problems that could arise in a business are. Just brainstorm some of those ideas, maybe things that they've encountered that they could anticipate. Feel free to talk about your experiences and what are some of the problems that you've had to encounter, whether it be in business or in personal life. And get the students talking a little bit about their problem solving that they do on a daily basis as 4th graders as well. Once you've had the time to talk a little bit about that in your introduction and getting the students to brainstorm some of those problems they experience on a daily basis, you want to talk to them about how there are some great steps that we can take in order to make a good decision when there comes to be a problem. So what you should do is hand out a problem-solving bookmark to each student. What you'll notice is on one side it has the steps clearly spelled out, and on the other side there's open areas in which they can actually use this at a later time to walk them through a problem that they might encounter. So it's a bookmark that they can keep with them, and it's a resource and something that they can actually utilize on their own at a later time. So what you want to do is just to walk through all of the steps that the students that they're to take when they have a problem. So I'd like to walk through this as a whole class, have a student read the step, and then to be able to break it down. What you'll notice in step 2 is that there is a list to brainstorm of possible solutions. And for today's purposes, we are really going to be brainstorming some common solutions that businesses often use. That is to change the price of a product, to change the advertising, or to change the supply. And it's good to make mention of that because that's going to come into play later in our activity. But obviously for real life and everyday life as 4th graders, they are probably not going to be using those same 3 brainstorms, so you can help them make it connect to their specific situation. Once you go through the steps, it's a great idea to actually go through an example of how this would actually look as you play it out in a real example. The guidebook suggests that you use an example from the hot dog stand game, in that maybe the hot dogs that you typically use cannot arrive, but you might brainstorm with your students what other scenario they would like to walk through. So the great thing is that whether you use the example in the book or whether the students come up with it, you want to make sure to walk through that example so that they can see it step by step. After you have done that, you're going to move into the final portion of the activity, which is to use the problem-solving catchers. Now, as adults, this might look a little bit intimidating, but I guarantee that many 4th graders are going to be familiar with what these look like. The final product looks like this, and it's a game in which the students can work in partners to play, but I'm going to walk you through how to fold your catcher. A great way to accomplish this portion of the activity is to make sure that you and the teacher are both up in front of the classroom to model each step by step. Please note that this is going to take probably 5 to 10 minutes in your classroom, as the students are going to be very excited to get to do this, and they really take great pride in getting to make it themselves, so I really feel like it is important for them to get to do that. The first thing you're going to do is have them tear off this side portion. And you will notice that all of the directions are on here step by step, so just know you can always take a look at that if that helps you as well. What you're going to do is have the students turn the catcher over so that they see the white side, and they're just going to simply fold diagonal to diagonal. Then they're going to open it back up, and they're going to fold the opposite diagonal. So then they're going to fold it this direction. That is going to create the center crease and kind of your center point so that they can see how to fold it from there. Again, you're going to have them turn this so the white side is showing up, and you're going to have them fold from the bottom up to the center point. And then they can turn their catcher and continue to fold all the points up. So they should all have a square. And again, I would pause at this point and assess the classroom to make sure that everybody is at this point. Then you're going to have them flip it over so that, again, the white side is showing, and you're going to do the exact same thing in that they are going to be pulling from the bottom corners up to that center piece. So that you get a square that looks like this. This is the other side. Again, make sure that everybody is at that point, and then at this point you finale it. And what you do is you just kind of want to make a crease. You'll see where this natural fold is right here. You just want to fold that down and crease it. And then it's nice to open it up and crease it on the other side as well. And then finally, you want to slip your fingers in it, so you use your thumb and your index finger, and you just kind of, the first time you do it, you kind of have to help it get to the shape that you need it, but this is what your ultimate final product will look like. At this point, what you want to do is just talk a little bit about the catcher with the whole class. So for example, your title is the drink stop. You have a lemonade and smoothie stand. You'll notice that you're open daily, and these are the products that they sell. But today we have a problem, and the problem that we have today is that the company we buy lemons from, which is Lemons Are Us, their truck broke down and they are not able to deliver lemons this week. So that's the problem. So what you're going to have the students do is they are going to work in partners, and they are going to use this kind of as a little mini game or activity. You're going to have the person that's holding the catcher ask the other person to give them a number 1 to 8. Let's say they say 3. They're going to count off 1, 2, 3. Then what they're going to get is they are going to get to read the options that are inside, and the person gets to choose what that option might be. So for example, they could change the supply. They don't have the lemons, so maybe they want to change their supply. So they can either replace the lemonade with iced tea, or they could replace the fresh lemonade with a powdered mix. The person's going to get to make that decision and decide what they want to do. So then let's just say they say, let's try the iced tea. Then they're going to open up the catcher and actually read either the risk or the reward that took place. So for example, in this case, the customers grumbled, but they tried your iced tea. The drink sales held steady. And so that is just kind of walking through some of the positive things or some of the negative things that might happen depending upon what the choices are. They can then switch roles and continue on the process and just work through this and choose different things and kind of see what some of those various risks and rewards are depending upon the time allotted. The final thing that you want to do is to, again, make sure that you bring everything together with that summary and review. We are going to face problems daily, whether it be business or in our personal lives. And so again, we just want to remind them of that bookmark, that they can take this with them and that they can use this to kind of help them process what the best decision would be when they encounter a problem. Again, you want to highlight the importance of saving money because you just never know what's going to be happening, and that no matter what, no matter if they're an entrepreneur or whether they're a 4th grade student, all of this information can be used day to day for them every day. Enjoy session 4.